Oh.
Okay. You can join in whenever.
I heard the cat. He said, meow.
Yep, that's what he says.
Alright. Go ahead and do that.
Alright, go away. You bother me. So I just spent all this money gearing up this guy and I can't even bring him with me now?
Nope.
Rude.
You have so much money on you already. You probably still have like 90 million.
I'm broke.
But I had 90 million and 2,000.
Guys, I'm broke.
How are
I
you
used all
broke?
my money. I was doing stuff and
With
I just
gems.
Were you buying whores?
Mm.
I have needs. I'm sorry. We need to find the goblin place again.
Wow.
I just want to find the goblin place again because it was fun.
It was fun.
No, I need money. Alex, can you give me a loan?
If I could give you money, I'd give you money.
You can't give money in this game?
No.
What?
Racist.
Wow.
What? Alright, so first of all, I gotta apologize to Rebecca.
Yes, apologize to me.
What am I apologizing for?
I don't know.
Ow.
Because we're gonna have a turbo nerd conversation right now. That's why I need to apologize, because I don't think you have any interest in what we're about to talk about.
Oh, very possibly not.
Yeah.
Oops.
So, Dylan, we gotta talk about Hearthstone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotta talk about that, right?
Yep. Oh. Things are changing.
Things are changing. Okay, so let's talk about what's changing. They want to introduce a new format called Standard. If for anybody that's ever played a TCG in their life for any amount of time, they know exactly what this is. They're basically going to limit what cards you can use in competitive play. The way that Hearthstone wants to do this is they're going to make it so that you can only use cards that are basic, classic, or from the current year or the previous year. And that will be known as Standard. That's what the competitive scene is going to be using. And half of the ranked ladder will be using it. So there are going to be two ways that you could do ranked. You could do it in the other format, which will be the wild format, which is where you can use any card you want, and the standard format, which is all the recent cards and the original cards. One of the reasons they decided to do this is to help balance the game. With more cards coming out, it's going to be harder and harder to balance the game. For example, we have like combos that they're just really hard to stop, like things with Emperor Thaurissan, or just certain cards in general, even without combos, like Dr. Boom and Paladin Shredder. Some people think that those cards are broken. I feel Dr. Boom is broken, but not Paladin Shredder. But that's a whole different conversation. Oh, we got a bunch of people back here. And that is true. Having less cards in the game will make it easier to balance the game. They also say that they want to lower the amount of cards that are used competitively, because it will help the design space of the game. Like, it will help the developers create new cards, and those cards will be more impactful. If competitive play has all these cards, it's harder to create cards because they have negative interactions with other cards. If you limit the amount of sets, that doesn't happen as often. They also want it to be new player friendly. This is something that they've always tried to do with Hearthstone. They want it easy to pick up, picked up by new players, like Rebecca, who doesn't like the game.
No, it's hard. Too much math.
One of the problems with the game is that once there's X amount of cards in the game, it's going to be harder and harder for... Are we going in here?
Yeah.
It's going to be harder and harder for people to collect all of them. For example, one of my friends just started playing the game. She has like 2% of my collection. Without spending money, it would be very hard for her to catch up to me, collection-wise, and therefore it is harder for her to play the game because she doesn't have as many cards and her options are limited. So if you can only use the most current cards, then that means that the original cards, that means that the only thing that people have to concentrate on when they're a new player is just that. They only have to worry about like 2 or 3 different sets. That's much easier than having to worry about 6 or 7 or even more than that eventually. One thing that they said they're going to do is they're going to revise the basic and classic cards because they're going to be sticking around forever. One thing that the community feels almost certain about is that they will nerf like Force Savage Roar. That's something that they're looking at very closely, or not just Force Savage Roar, but they need to do something about that deck type, because if they're going to be keeping it around forever, and those 2 cards are in the basic and classic sets, they need to limit how impactful they are in the game. So again, so that it doesn't affect their future designs and potential of cards that they could make. Are we coming out or?
Oh, I'm going to the next area. I mean, if you need to go to town, let me know.
No, I mean, do we go back out the portal or?
No.
You just teleport.
How do you teleport?
Press M.
Map.
And you just see where most of our icons are at.
They're all with me.
There's a little bit of lag there. You might have to close it and
are.
open it again, or wait a little while. What was I saying?
I don't know, something boring about Hearthstone.
Force Savage Roar at the nerf.
Right. So they wanna nerf that because it's gonna be in the game forever. And there's a lot of other stuff. Is there anything else that we can think of off the top of our heads? Crip said that they might nerf Big Game Hunter. I'm not sure how true that is.
How would they nerf it?
Because it limits the design space of big minions.
Doesn't every removal do that?
Yes, but Big Game Hunter more so because it targets the extremely large minions and it really punishes. It's like a really extreme tempo swing, and they don't really want stuff like that in the game, apparently. Like they want your removals to only be slightly more tempo than the minion that it's going to remove, or you lose some kind of advantage. For example, Sap is a 2-mana removal, and there's massive tempo there, but you lose a card. I think they want more cards to be like Entomb, for example. Like, it's a 6-mana card, so you can't just use it and win the game. Even though in some cases it does just win the game, but it's a more slow winning of the game than immediately. Is there anything else that they might nerf? I feel that they might nerf some of the mage spells, because those are really powerful.
And stick away from the mage.
And like double fireball is just as bad as Force Savage.
Well, then they should just nerf Antonitis.
I think that would take away from the identity of the deck, and also double fireball is dangerous by itself. It doesn't even need Antonidas.
Well, if you have an infinite supply of fireballs, then
But that's harder to set up, I feel. Like
if you save your coin the entire game, you just coin and then play arcane missiles, you already have 2 fireballs.
Right, but you had to save the coin, which
Right.
that's actually a tempo loss. So,
Not if you had the card from the beginning. Like if you started off with Mana Worm, like, and then you go into Sorcerer's Apprentice.
I think you're missing my point, Alex. Like, what I'm saying is, Fireball is dangerous even if you don't have any of those cards. It's like if you don't have Antonidas or Mana Worm in your deck, and you just have 2 fireballs, it's dangerous. Just as dangerous as Force Savage. So they might. I don't know how. I don't even know how they could touch that card without making it terrible. You know, because Blizzard, that's what they do. They don't adjust cards. They just kill them. So.
Well, if they're gonna kill a class card, isn't that what Fireball is a class card?
Right. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Basic class cards. Not necessarily, but I mean, let's look at stuff from the past, like rogue cards. They just completely fucking remove them from the game. So I don't know. They said up to 20 cards are going to be revised. So that might hurt. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe Kill Command. I don't know.
They gotta hurt my 2 favorite deck types right now.
I'm sorry. These we don't know for sure. What the only one that they have said specifically was Force Savage.
So it's 2 out of the 20 right there.
That I know of at least. They're gonna give us more deck slots.
Yeah,
Finally.
we have 18 of them.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to sneak it in there to say, hey, you can play Wild and you can play Standard at the same time. You can have 1 deck for everything. That's cool. Nobody's gonna actually do that. We just want more deck slots because we need more deck slots.
Well, I can actually make a Priest deck now.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, it doesn't affect me because when I use a deck, I just delete it afterwards. Because I almost never play the same deck again when I log in on a different day. Because I know that the meta game changes every single day. And yeah, I just like if I log in right now, I maybe have 2 decks. But it is still nice, like especially when we're doing adventures and stuff, and you know, you don't want to take apart your good decks to make a shitty deck so that Rafam can take it. You know, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Bad memories.
I didn't have to make a shitty deck.
Speaking of adventures, the way that they're gonna do it is if you already own the adventure, you'll still have it. But after the Zodiac year starts, they're gonna remove it from the store. So if you don't have it, you'll never be able to play it through it. If you own the first wing of the adventure, it will stay there and it will allow you to continue buying the wings. Only with gold though. They will not let you purchase wings that are no longer in the standard meta with real money, because they're going to remove it from the store. They are going to allow you to disenchant the cards that you got from adventures. I believe Trump did the math, and if you disenchant everything from Nax, you get 3,200 dust, which can craft you 2 legendaries. So if you don't plan on using those cards in wild format, oh, did you move again?
Yeah.
if you don't plan on using those cards in the WoW format, all is not lost. At least you can trade them for 2 legendaries, I guess. But that doesn't mean that you should, because there's still Tavern Brawl, which will be using, which will sometimes use those cards, and we all know how difficult that can be sometimes, especially because.
You're waiting.
Oh, sorry. Because Tavern Brawl is all about like doing stupid combos and shit, and it's gonna be exponentially harder as the game progresses when in those types of challenges where they let you make a deck. So probably still a good idea just to hold on to those old cards if they're somewhat useful, just so that you can have them for Tavern Brawl. I feel like my voice is gonna go today.
I'm sore throat myself.
Good thing I got like a bag of cough drops here.
I need some.
They're sugar free too.
Gross.
Sugar. Shit, Mom.
Nah, I can't sit here and eat basically candy with menthol in it. That's
Delicious.
that's an easy way to get fat. They're gonna modify the deck builder so that you can know when you're about to add a card into your deck that is not allowed in standard, which legendary ring on the ground. Let me check that out. That's very useful.
Well, I'm sure it would let you know if you went into a match. I'm sure it, let's say, hey, you can't play. You got cards that aren't allowed.
Well, yeah. If you have cards that are not allowed, it just X's it. Like sort of like if you go into the game and you have like a 29 card deck and it just doesn't let you use it. The same idea. It'll just put a big X over it. But in the deck builder, it's actually going to have symbols on cards that are not allowed, which is nice. Also, you'll just be able to filter cards that are not allowed in standard, which is also nice. Because it will probably get to the point where we just forget, you know, what cards are in standard sometimes. They said that cards that have random effects, like for example Discover cards, they're only gonna have you're only gonna be able to get cards that are available in standard. So it's not gonna be like a workaround. You're not gonna be able to get a Haunted Creeper from a Piloted Shredder. They're not gonna let you do it. Oh well, you won't even be able to use Piloted Shredder, but you get what I'm saying. The seasonal rewards will always be stuff that you can get from. I mean that stuff that you can play in standard, as also arena rewards. They're gonna make it. They're not gonna give you stuff that you can't use in standard either. That includes the pack and the card rewards if you get a card reward.
So they're taking out GBG packs from Arena?
Yes.
Okay.
I talked about Brawl. Brawl, you'll be able to use whatever as long as it's according to the Brawl rules. They said it. I can't even believe somebody asked this. Did we go in here? Or?
No.
No.
They were like, if you disenchant your Nax cards, can you play Nax again and get them again? No, you have to craft them again. They're not going to let you have a way to farm infinite dust. That's retarded. All esports events are going to be using standard.
What, really?
Yep.
That's weird.
All BlizzCon tournaments, all official Blizzard events will be standard. There still might be like some third-party tournaments, obviously, that are using wild format, but that's just gonna be like exactly like I said, it's gonna be a private tournament that's not sponsored by Blizzard. So basically, it's gonna be really just for the viewers at that point. You know, every now and then there's like challenge stone and stuff. There are tournaments, but they don't count for anything. They're just there for people to watch. And lastly, they say that they're doing it to keep the metagame fresh. Obviously, if they keep removing cards and adding cards, the metagame will be continuously changing. And also if they rebalance cards that already exist. And I think that covers everything that Blizzard has said about standard format. Is there anything you guys would like to share from a personal point of view?
Are they giving us? I don't know if you mentioned this. I might have not been paying attention, but are they giving you rewards for both wild and standard and rank?
They did address this. It will only use whatever your highest rank was in either one of them.
Okay, so you're only getting one reward.
Yeah, you're only getting one reward. So if you get legend in wild, but you don't even play standard, you'll just get a legend reward. That's fine. Anything else? Anything from you, Dylan? Any input?
Not really. What do you think would be more common? I guess standard mode?
Yeah, I think standard is going to be more common because A, all the pro players are going to be playing it and people copy the decks that the pro players use. B, because it's easier to get the cards for new players, because they don't have to go back and collect 6 different sets. They only have to collect what's relevant right now. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think more people are gonna play what is sanctioned by Blizzard as the official tier. I mean, the official format. So I think standard will be the
new standard.
Yeah, the new standard. That doesn't mean that I think wild will go away, because you know, sometimes you might just want to do something stupid, you know, because eventually there are going to be combos that you can do that might break the game, and they're not really going to rebalance that probably. So there's probably going to be people just doing dailies in wild just because it's probably easier to just face roll somebody, and it's just going to be a crapshoot. I think wild is just going to be there for fun. And then standard will be there for the people that are seriously playing the game.
So they said they're gonna change the packs, or what you can use every new year.
The first expansion of every year is when the new Zodiac year will start. Apparently, somebody will correct me if that's wrong. So when we get our first expansion for this year, that's when the first standard year will start. And then at that point we'll have 3 expansions plus basic and classic cards, and then at the end of the year when the second expansion comes out, we'll have basic, classic, and 4
There's the looter gem guy. Stay back there. No, go back there.
Yay! I got loot. Some people are upset. They say that this is Blizzard's way of getting more money out of us. Also, they did say specific, like, they were pretty adamant about this, that packs will not come back into rotation ever. So GVG and Nax will never come back into rotation. And they will not reprint cards. Like, Anti-Killbot is going away, it's going away forever. They're not going to reprint it and put it in a different pack.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Right.
So we'll never see GVG cards again.
Exactly, unless you play wild, and you will only be able to get them again if you craft them, because the pack will be gone. I don't even think this is a big deal. I really don't.
No.
Like,
I mean, I think it's kind of a big deal, but that's just me.
the thing is, like, if you want to play with cards that are not even relevant to the game anymore, I mean, that's kind of just your call. Yes, like, when this new expansion comes out, if there are no mechs in it, yes, mech decks will be dead. Death Rattle decks will be dead. But I'm sure they'll bring, like, some kind of new archetype or something. Again, they just want to keep the game fresh. So, I don't know. I think it's for the better, though, because the more cards that are in the game, the harder it's going to be to win. So, I'll just go with it. It's whatever.
That's the ball. We're gonna teleport up this.
Oh shit, probably a bad idea.
Run, run.
Yeah.
Do we go in the realm of the banished?
Yeah, I've been doing the thing in here already. It's almost done. I've been waiting for you guys, but it's okay.
Need more time.
It's done.
Thanks, bro.
Hey, you're the people who left me in here by myself.
We can't leave you if you're the only one going.
Yeah, we didn't know you came this way.
It was in that portal, that guy, after we killed the guy.
But I didn't go in there.
That's
Why
where
did you
we're-
go in?
That's where we were supposed to go.
Well, you didn't say go in this thing.
I asked, are we going in here? Nobody said anything.
You have
I
to
didn't
be
know where you
very
guys were
specific with us.
I moved to the next
Okay,
area.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not like there was a boss fight in here or anything. It doesn't matter.
This is the boss fight we're going to right now.
Here you left. Here you left us.
I said I moved to the next area.
I did not hear that.
I just said it, I swear.
I didn't hear it either.
Wait,
Oh.
so where? So no one's even in this little thing anymore?
I'm in here with you, but you need to teleport. You need to. Well, you might need to run away and then teleport.
This is ridiculous.
One thing that I'm excited for is that since the metagame will always be changing, I love that because I'm a deck builder. Like that's the reason why I play Hearthstone, to experiment different decks and troll people. So the most satisfaction I get out of this game is making random shit nobody's ever seen and then murdering them with it. So or just failing and experimenting with it and failing, and that's fine too. I still get some satisfaction out of that. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, people are still gonna go on Hearthspawn and copy whatever everybody's using, but hey, it's whatever. A short period of creativity will happen more often, I guess. To be honest, I haven't been as creative as I could with the decks that I've been making because I always fall back on like Death Rattle crap every now and then. Like when I just don't feel like using my brain, if you come and watch me play, what am I doing? Like I'm fucking Death Rattles, Kel'Thuzad, win. Like that's it. So it's a challenge. It's a difficulty increase in terms of deck building for people that don't copy decks, and I'm fine with that. it also sort of takes off a stress for me personally, because now I don't feel obligated to complete my collection, because if I don't need them anymore, oh well. I don't
Well,
need to
I think
complete
you're
the
not going to be
collection.
able to complete it now anymore, because if you're missing, like now you're saying GBG packs, you're not going to be able to get them easily anymore. You're actually going to have to go out of your way and
To craft them, which would make me not as competitive, because I should be using those resources to make cards that are relevant to the game.
Right.
So it kind of sucks for completionists, but I'm not one of those people. I just want to troll people on the ladder. So I guess if that's your gripe with it, I totally understand. Considering your reaction on the first day, Dylan, I thought you'd have a lot to say about this.
I kind of text you most of it. It's more of like, whoa, they're doing this, this, and this. And that's kind of what you just said.
So, was your first impression of it negative or positive? Or just, I don't know.
Mostly positive, I think.
Okay. What about you, Alex?
Me? Oh, I didn't really have any reaction. I guess, more or less surprised that they added a new gameplay. But
Yeah,
not really
mostly.
good. Okay, sorry.
I'm mostly surprised that they're fucking taking cards out of the standard game. I think that's what the more surprising thing is. Because now that they're obsolete, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I feel like they're losing some profit, and for a company that's kind of weird.
Well, they are giving you an incentive to always buy cards, because if some of them go away, and you still want to play the game, you gotta buy more cards. So in a way, it kind of balances itself out. I know that there are some people that like, I just quit now because I spent money on these cards, and now you're telling me that they're not relevant anymore competitively.
Well, I would say the problem would come from them making the same card with a different art style. I mean, the same card with a different art style.
Well, they said that they will not reprint the same card.
Okay, so that's really important.
But the thing here is that they could in essence reprint the same card. So, like for example, Antique Healbot, right? Antique Healbot was a card that made a lot of classes viable because before they didn't have any healing. Like Rogue, for example. I play Rogue a lot, so I could talk about them. For Rogues, they didn't have any class healing. So if you wanted to play any type of Rogue deck, it had to just be super controlling and then burst it in, like Miracle Rogue, which they nerfed, or it had to just be completely stupid defensive, or you just had to try to hope for a good matchup. And Antique Healbot helped remedy that. Same for a lot of classes that, you know, you couldn't traditionally play a controlled game because of how the metagame was, but now because of Antique Healbot, you could. And if they take that away, it's like, fuck, what am I going to do now? I can't play the same type of deck that I had before. But even though they said that they're not going to reprint cards,
Sure, they're gonna make similar cards.
they could make they could make cards that are very, very similar. For example,
3/3 that heals for 4.
exactly, or well, I was gonna say like a 3-mana 2/2 that heals for 8, right? That's essentially the same thing as Antique Healbot, but it has slightly different stats and mana cost. So if that's what they're planning to do, that's fucked up, because that's basically they're just making us buy the same cards again, but they slightly changed them, and they're saying, "Oh, that's a new meta," you know, like. So I hope they don't do that.
But don't you feel? I mean, for me, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but don't you think that they would have to somehow replace some of those cards?
Well, one of the theories is that this will cause other cards to be more used. For example, nobody uses Tuskar Jouster right now in Paladin, right? Because you just use a heal bot. But if the heal bot is no longer there, you might be incentivized to use Tuskar Jouster. Or maybe if all these aggressive Death Rattle cards don't exist, and Mad Scientists and stuff like that, maybe you won't need the anti-kill bot. So we have to see what will happen. Or maybe something else will rise to replace, like, Sludge Belcher, for example. Maybe we won't have Sludge Belcher anymore, but maybe Defender of Argus will become standard again. I don't know. It's one of those things where we have to wait to see what happens.
Yeah,
I just hope that they don't in essence reprint the same cards, but with slightly different stats and mana costs, because that would piss me off.
yeah, that would piss me off too.
Because if that's the design space that they're talking about, man, will I send an angry letter to Blizzard about how I'm a disgruntled customer? No, I won't do that. I'm sure somebody will.